first of all, you have to understand why somebody takes 6 months and why somebody takes 6 days.
Yeah.
The first challenge, as I told, is integration of devices. If you got one non-standard device, the implementation drags on. And you will need few months to build a connector, adapter for that. We don't need any connectors.
Hello everyone, welcome to the GB show. Today we are going to talk about the heart of cybersecurity and the core of zero trust. That is identity and access management. So it is very important for every organization to protect their assets, data, cloud, environment, APIs, network, perimeter, everything. We can't achieve any of the security without having the proper identity and access management. When we talk about the concept, the first thing comes in mind is IAAA. So now what is IAAA? It starts with the identity. Identities are created as someone born, right? So very first thing, what you get your date of birth certificate with IDs of your parents, sign of doctor. He says that, okay, this person is born at this particular time, at this particular location, and that's the name of the person. And your first identity is born. Then you take that, you enroll for Aadhaar, you go to school, you enroll there, you get a registration number over there, you get the roll number. Now that number becomes your identity. When you get your Aadhaar number gets that identity. That all happens with the verification process, right? So all the previous document you have to submit. Then you enroll for PAN, right? The same way you apply for passport. So every identity number which you have a basic set of documentation they need to follow, and then a new ID is generated for you. The same way, if you go for a bank and you want to open an account over there, you will provide all the documents which are required, and then bank will create an ID for you and give it to you. So now that ID is something you go to the bank and you say, okay, I am Gaurav Batra and I have this ID with me, and bank will say, okay, great. Now I know you are Gaurav Batra, but how I trust that it's you and someone has not taken the identity and coming and showing it on your behalf. So they ask you to authenticate. So that is where the first A of IAAA comes in picture, where you need to authenticate yourself. Authentication comes in where you will validate your credentials, and validation of credentials can happen in 3 ways. You must have been given sometimes PIN, password, OTPs, or even your biometrics like your retina scan, face scan, fingerprint. All of you must be using that. So by giving it in authentication, we divide it into the 3 parts. One is something you know, something you have, or something you are. Okay, so now identity is done, you are authenticated, and you logged into a maybe let's say internet banking application, and then what we have to look into, what authorization you have. Like maybe when you log in first, you have authorization to add a pay, but first instant you can only transfer 25,000 rupees, 50,000 rupees. That is your authorization, and after that you can do after 24 hours maybe everything which requires in that particular app. You can check balance for your own application, but if you are a branch manager, you can check anyone's balance in that particular organization or in bank's customers base, right? So that is the second day, which is authorization, and the third day comes as a accountability. So where you have to provide non-repetition, that if you are doing something, now you can't deny. That is where your logging, monitoring, and everything comes in play. But the most important part which we are going to talk today is the authorization. So now in an organization there are privileged user, as I was talking about a branch manager, right? He can see everyone's balance in the account and can do transactions if required based on the customer's behalf, right? If a VP or a business head in an organization have more power to do more tasks, we have IT admins, super users do lot of things. That is where it comes the privilege user part, right? So the topic which I have today, or the discussion which I want to do today, is on privilege access management, privilege identity management, or in nutshell, if I say, the privilege user management. So who better than this can talk on this? The one company which is making noise from last 20 years, serving the customers with the right set of solution in privilege access management, Iraje Software. So to have a discussion in this deep topic, I have with me the Senior Vice President from Iraje Software, that's Kaushal Mehta. Let's have a conversation.
Thank you for hosting me here. I'm very happy to join you on your GB show, which is one of the most popular shows on the net. And I would love to delve more into this topic of privilege, identity, and access management.
Sure, amazing, Kaushal, and I will really like to welcome you here with the whole heart because in the season 2 this time I decided that it's not just gonna be a generic talks, but we want to have a core technical conversations and what we want to build, or as I have just explained, what is IAAA, and I want you to tell people what is privilege access management. Very first thing, why we need it.
Right.
So let's start with that.
Right. So basically, if you look at the journey of this domain, it started with identity management. People started saying that we want to identify the person who's accessing systems. So this subject became privilege identity management. This domain was known popularly, if you see, before 2015, people used to call it PIM solution, privilege identity management solution. Then somewhere in 2015, Gartner rebranded it and called it PAM solution. It is more about access management. It is more about role-based access, time-based access. So it became PAM solution, which is privilege access management. And some businesses or some enterprises started calling it PUM, privilege user management. So there is a conundrum in the market where somebody is calling it PIM, somebody is calling it PAM, and somebody is calling it PUM. So what is it really? It is really about three things. First is the identity management. So let's give an example of what is identity management. When you go to the airport, the first thing somebody asks you is, show me your ID. Right? In layman terms, that is identity management. The second question is, show me your boarding pass or tickets. So that is access management. If I have tickets for Air India or Lufthansa or Cathay Pacific, I can only check in into those counters. I can't go anywhere in the airport. So that piece in IT terms is access management. And the third term is privileged users. There are two types of users. One is the end user and one is the privileged user. What we specialize is in the privileged user part.
Yeah.
Right? So identity, access and privileged user is this whole concept of PIM, PAM, PUM or whatever PXM we call it.
Sure. So why it is required? So now, privileged user. So can't I trust them the same way like a normal user? And maybe from the industry, what are the use cases you have established where it was required? No, I need to treat privileged user differently.
Right. So you have to understand, let me give you a layman example. In a country, there are two types of people. One is the citizen and one is the policeman. Now, policeman is to monitor the citizen. So in layman terms, in IT terms, citizen becomes the end user and policeman becomes the privileged user. Right?
Yes.
So privileged user is to govern the entire infrastructure of the organization and they are with a lot of special powers. So when privileged user is monitoring the end user, who is monitoring the privileged user is where this PIM PAM solution comes in. So there were a set of policemen, there were a set of power users in the organization that were left unchecked, that were left on their own and nobody knew what they were doing.
Okay.
And that's where the PIM PAM space is important, where you need to also govern the privileged users, the power users who are managing the entire organization.
Amazing. So now I understand. Okay, so in an organization, so someone who has more power, who can do more tasks, right? We need to monitor them differently.
Yes.
And those users are of course monitoring the other users, right?
Yes.
So how a PAM solution works? So that will be my thing which I will like to understand.
So essentially this solution, the PAM solution, is policing the policeman. In layman terms, it is policing the policeman.
Yeah.
You need to police the policeman also in order to achieve zero trust in the organization. You can't trust, you can't not trust end users, but only trust the privileged users. You also have to ensure that you have visibility on every user, whether it is end user or privileged user. Now, what is the use case of privileged users? Why why this is important? So what happened is, if you see, the privileged user or the power user have lot of critical access to systems, whether it is operating systems, whether it is network devices, firewalls, switches, routers, databases, today cloud, right? Browser consoles, access through browser consoles, third-party SaaS applications and all that. Now, when they have this kind of accesses, they can undo anything on those devices. The moment you have admin access or root on a particular device, you are basically a god on that device, right? You can do anything. You can even format the device. So this power needs to be governed properly. Otherwise, it can do a lot of damage to the organization and the brand, right? Over the years, people started controlling the end users without bothering too much about the power users. But when people started investigating the breaches, investigating the incidents, the compromises, research found that 80% of the compromises or breaches happened because of internal folks. That's where the focus started shifting from the end user to the power user.
Okay.
Though this was a very small set of people, the power of these users is way too bigger than anybody else in the organization. That's the importance of privileged user and how to govern that in that privileged user set.
So in nutshell, if I say it, to carve the threat way insider can bring
threat is the real threat.
The thing. So I will like to know the working of a PAM solution, that how it works. So you are consulting with many organization and selling them a solution. So now if let's say I'm a noob in this area, maybe I'm running a company, I have 40 users at this point of time, and out of 40 maybe 5 have privileged access. So what you will suggest, that what should I be doing? I have access to the Office 365. I'm using my own LMS. I have SaaS application. We have firewalls in place, right? So we have admin accesses. It's a lot of data. My other users are having in. So how I will do about it? How PAM works and how I can actually establish that in my organization.
So let me just walk you through 2 separate examples. One is without PAM and one is with PAM. So what was the scenario before PAM? That administrators or super users had access to systems, uncontrolled access to the systems, and they could undo anything. And eventually, by mistake, by design, by intention, something went wrong, right? And it led to incidents, it led to frauds, it led to breaches and all that, and compromises. So then the whole idea came in that we need to govern these users, and we need to bring a solution that gives 2-3 things. First is gives me a full audit trail of who has done what, untampered audit trail. That's the first ask why you needed a PAM, because you have audit trails, but these audit trails are in the hands of admins. Admin can delete the logs and go walk out trace free, right? Yeah. So that is the first thing. The second thing, the privileged passwords. That's the gold that every cybersecurity or hacker is interested in. Get your privileged passwords, right? Access to your privilege. So that was the second thing why you needed a solution to govern the passwords, the privileged passwords. The third thing was, I need to get visibility and control on who is doing what in the organization. Yeah. So these 3 things, elements, actually drove the whole business of privileged user management, right? Then came the regulators. They were nervous about these compromises and hacks. So they came up with regulations, standards, guidelines. Then there were international bodies, security bodies who came up with their own standards, NIST, ISO, and the world bodies that govern standards for security and cybersecurity. So these 4-5 elements necessitated a solution like a PIM-PAM solution. This is why this solution became critical and important for the organizations to have. Now the next question is, how does it work?
Yeah.
So, I was just 2 weeks back, I was giving a boot camp training to the students in Pune University, Savitribai Phule Pune University. And the whole day I spent on explaining privilege access management, 8 hours. Let's start off, what is PAM? What does it do actually? So, basically the privileged user first has to log in to the PAM solution, which is that first factor authentication. It could be your AD, it could be Azure AD, it could be Cloud, GCP, it could be LDAP, or it could be a local admin, a local ID on the PAM solution itself. So that's the first factor authentication where I put in my username password. After that, I do the two-factor authentication. The second factor, use the second factor. It could be biometric, it could be your OTP, SMS, email, it could be PKI tokens, it could be hard tokens, soft tokens, a combination or any one of them. So the user selects the second factor option, goes to the authentication and logs into the PAM portal. Now you are on the PAM solution. Now you can see only your devices. So this part is the identity management piece. Second piece is the access management piece. I log into PAM, I see only my devices, and I only see it for a particular window of time. If I've got access for the device for 2 hours, I can access the firewall only for 2 hours. After that, the access is gone. I can't see the device, right? So what essentially you're doing is you are managing the identity, verifying the person who is coming in, then giving the person access, role-based and time-based access, and then generating a set of audit trails that will give you forensic in terms of who did what.
Okay.
And by giving single sign-on, you are not letting the password be with the user. So you're controlling the privileged password as well, and getting all the forensics that you need for your audit and compliances later on.
Okay, and all these passwords are getting reset again.
Yes,
and
correct.
Okay.
And the main aspect of this PAM solution is to vault all the privileged passwords.
Okay.
Give the privileged user single sign-on to all these devices and rotate the passwords very frequently.
Okay.
I have customers who rotate it on a regular 30, 60, 90-day schedule, and some customers recently have started being more and more sensitive to the password rotation, and they have reached a stage where they are rotating passwords every day. Every night, the entire set of passwords are rotating. Now we have matured customers in that to that level now.
So what is the dependency, or based on what it's decided that it's every 6 hours or 1 day or 2 days?
So generally it is about sensitivity of a particular business, a particular vertical. Traditionally people have done 30-60 day password rotations. But since more and more breaches, compromise incidents have happened, some businesses who have actually got compromised have got more and more nervous, and they've started realizing that this privileged password is where the game is. So they have started reducing the threshold of 30 days to 15 days, 7 days. It all depends on what kind of compromises that you've also seen in your organization, or how sensitive is your business. If you're a bank, you ought to be more and more sensitive because money is flowing through your business.
So as you talk about the banks, we know bank is a regulated body, and a lot of compliances are there. There's a lot of pressure to satisfy those compliances. It's very I hope that it must be very easy to go and tell CISO and CIO that okay, these are the compliances and you have to do it. But for non-regulatory bodies or something, how difficult it is to convince them, okay, this spam is required, this is actually a threat, and a lot of nuisance it can create in your system. So how was your experience about that?
So I think last 15 years since I've been focusing on the spam solution. Previously it was more of an education to tell the businesses that you need PAM, it is nice to have, but it is important and all that. But today I think the industry and the CISOs and CIOs have matured quite a lot. As you said, the banks, it is a no-brainer because it's compliance driven, it is regulator driven, they have to have it. I don't think there's a bank who is not having this. But for non-BFSI segment, I don't think they have also graduated and matured to understand the importance of cybersecurity and understand the importance of PAM. Because I can only tell you, if you have not understood it yet, you are in the line. You are in the line. I think the cyber attackers are educating the customers more than we do.
Okay, fair enough. And let's say, assume I'm a CIO of a pharma company.
Yes.
Okay? Now you need to pitch me a PAM solution. What is the use case you will like to tell me that I'll get convinced immediately?
Right. So as I said, the regulators and cyber attackers are doing our job actually to tell the customers.
I think pharma is also regulated. Let's move to the retail or maybe some FMCG manufacturing.
Let's
I want to make your
manufacturing.
Manufacturing. Let's start with
because
that.
they are neither regulated nor governed by any major regulation, though they have self-governed through ISO. So a lot of manufacturers follow ISO processes, and as part of ISO compliance, they obviously look for security solutions as well. But manufacturing vertical, I would call it as a laggard as far as adopting, this whole PIM-PAM space is concerned. But let's look at manufacturers today. They also understand today that their data is also very important. We had a customer who is a lawyer. I was wondering why a lawyer would buy a PAM solution, but she was one of the celebrated lawyers of the country. Her single appearance in the court was for 20 lakhs. Now she was like paranoid about securing her data, her case papers. If that data gets compromised, her case, which is a few thousand crores, drops off. Right? I have a customer who is a dairy, but it is one of the largest dairies in the world. Right? I was wondering why would a dairy farm who is collecting milk from the farmers and selling it would need a PAM solution. But they run SAP too. And SAP is governed by their vendors. They don't have visibility on who is doing what on their critical systems. So they also are looking for PAM. I jovially say, doodhwalas and panwalas are also going to buy PAM tomorrow. That's the way it is going to go about.
Okay, fair enough. And I know PAM implementing it and making it work, it's not that easy. So what are the basic misconfigurations or the mistakes you have seen which actually make a amazing solution a fail?
Right. See, over the years, the evolution, you have to just go a bit back in the history. It started with a password vault where somebody said, I want to vault my Windows server passwords. Right? And then they said, oh, by the way, I also have Linux. Then they say, oh, what about the network devices? Then the database and so on. So eventually this solution has been maturing in terms of integrating all sorts of assets and governing the passwords for that. But what happens is many solutions are they have not graduated to integrate every possible asset which is out there in the universe. So they struggle with something called connectors. They have a solution that needs connectors to integrate all assets. The first phase of the PAM journey is about integrating all your inventory. If you can't integrate your inventory, you're always keeping them for exceptions. You're keeping them outside. Your security is your weakest link is outside.
Okay.
Right? So the first success parameter for any PAM implementation should be that I should be able to integrate all my assets without any exception into PAM. Because if you're going to leave devices outside PAM, that's your weakest link, you're gone. The PAM is of possibly not much use.
That's the biggest mistake.
Yeah, the first thing. The second thing is compliance.
Okay.
The driver for buying a PAM solution is obviously compliance. It's not about security. We sold it as security, but we realized compliance is a bigger problem than security. Okay.
But compliance is trying to solve the
security problem. That's the right thing. So the second piece of your implementation should focus on compliance, which means that all the regulatory ask of principle of least privileges, need to know access, just enough access, just in time access, all that this solution should provide. That's the second piece. The third piece is adoption, where customers fail. They are not able to govern their users to go through PAM and use it, because the user traditionally, they always resist to change. They want to go direct. They don't want to go through a solution and get them slowed down and all that. So that fear of being monitored, right? They create resistance to change, and that's where adoption fails. That's where a lot of customers who have gone for PAM solutions, they have not been able to successfully adopt PAM solution. So there are always two doors to get in. One is the direct door, the bypass door, and one is the PAM door. And most of the users keep the PAM door open and go bypass. So the whole effectiveness of PAM goes off. Then the next stage after adoption is enforcement. I should be locking all the doors and only make PAM as a single door for entry. But if your adoption has not happened, how will you lock the doors? There is always a back door, then there is no enforcement.
And one of the case or the challenge in enforcement happens, if it's a single door entry, it becomes a
Single point of
failure as well. So what is the best practices in that, and how you are solving that problem?
Correct. So this category has two challenges. One is single point of failure, and other is single point of compromise. Because if this fails, your access to all your systems goes off. It's almost like a denial of service. So there is redundancy in the system with primary, HA, DR, right? You build kind of failure options. So you can, if this fails, then you switch the traffic to the HA, and if that fails, then you switch the traffic to DR. So that addresses the whole problem of single point of failure.
Yeah.
The second problem is single point of compromise. If this solution gets compromised, all hells break loose. Everything gets compromised because you're putting all eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And if that basket is not strong enough, you're dead. Right? So, the way we solve it is we have made a zero trust solution where we not only not trust the admins, but we also don't trust the super admin.
Oh, okay.
Because the super admin is also one of your admins who is given the job of managing this solution.
Yeah.
So while I don't trust 100 admins, how do I trust those 2-3 super admins? So we have made a real zero trust PAM solution where even the super admin does not have access to the PAM OS. If you don't have access to the PAM OS, you cannot delete the logs, you cannot delete the recordings, you cannot tamper the solution. And that's where we address the second challenge of single point of compromise by making it a zero trust PAM solution.
Okay. And this is something when you are saying you address, is it your USP or it's most of the PAM solutions are providing? Because my next question which I'm coming to you, because I have seen if we go, there are many solutions. There are even few which are very, very popular as well, because frankly, people who I have always spoken to, who are using the Iraje as a PAM, right? So they always have given a good feedback, and that is where I thought I want to understand that, okay, what is your take on that?
Right.
But is this the USP, or if it is common across, what is your USP compared to all other PAM solutions?
So let's talk about the zero trust that you touched upon and our USP in the zero trust space. So, if you look at the zero trust as a concept, it has many dimensions. Somebody says two-factor authentication is the must. That is one element of zero trust. Somebody says the communication between the user to PAM to the target should be encrypted. That's zero trust, right? All these are elements of zero trust. But one of the elements that is most important is I don't trust the admins, but I trust the super admin. That's where zero trust fails. That's where we come in and say our solution not only doesn't trust the admin, but also it doesn't trust the super admin, and then it becomes a real zero trust PAM, because it's like keeping your focusing on opening, closing your windows and holes and all that, but keeping your back door open for somebody to come and take you for a ride. Now that is where super admin control is most important, and that's the real element of zero trust, especially in a solution like PAM.
And I think 20 years you have been working on this solution overall, right?
Yes.
And there are many problems which existed, and I have my own sources as well, where I've got something like, you are replacing few of the bigger names in the market. So when you're building up that use case, so what are your USPs apart from this zero trust thing which you have mentioned, that people are actually switching from those bigger names to your platform? So what do you sell in those proportions here?
Okay. So see, traditionally big names have been in this space. Okay, they have also been there for quite some time. The only thing difference is they have challenges in terms. As I said, there are 5 phases of this implementation. The first phase is integration. This is where they fail a bit. Because they are not able to integrate non-standard devices. They are not able to integrate browser console. They are not able to integrate the SaaS applications, cloud out of the box. This is the first area that they struggle with.
Okay.
Whereas Iraje PAM integrates every device out of the box without any connectors. So that is our biggest USP, and that's why our implementation is done in days, versus they take weeks and months. So that's the first area that we address. This is what the industry wants, that they should be able to integrate every asset without any exception, and we are the best place in doing this. The second place that they struggle is adoption. right? They have challenges with respect to the performance. They have challenges with respect to, ability to give access through the system, password rotation, all those challenges. Adoption is a challenge. That's where we come in, and our solution helps them to adopt it better, right? Because all the excuses that admins give, those excuses don't work in our solution because our solution works. The third challenge is enforcement. If you can't adopt, you can't enforce, and most of these big brands fail in enforcing the spam solution. And if you can't enforce, the security value of the solution is not there.
Okay.
So what people like about our solution who are trying to switch is our ability to integrate assets out of the box, ability to do zero trust, ability to adopt and enforce. So we are the best placed in the industry right now to help the journey of CISOs, CIOs into enforcement, from integration to adoption to enforcement. We are better placed than our competition.
And I have my own flavor with the different PAM solutions, and what I have observed is the journey of implementing it is not that easy, and sometimes it has taken months and years as well.
Yes.
So what is your experience, and what is the duration? You always suggest that if you go with my solution, this is how many days or something I will
Right.
put that up.
This is a very interesting question because I was just talking to a CISO yesterday.
Okay.
And they were using one of the very popular solutions. So I told him, would you like to look at our solution as well? So he said, no, this solution has been with me for 5 years. This is quite spread out, and it will take time, and there is a lot of effort and time to do all this. So I don't think we should be looking at a change. So I said, what if I do this implementation in 15 days flat? You might have taken a year to do this implementation. I know that. Okay. But I'll promise you, I'll take a bet on it, and I'll do it in 15 days. He said, no, that's not possible. I said,
even I think so.
So I just told him one real case where we have just signed up with the largest data centers in the country, and we are promising them replacing an existing solution which has been there with them for 10 plus years in 15 days flat. And it is all outcome based. You don't pay if you don't see the outcome. So your time to success is 30 days. You'll come to know whether it was a sales talk or it was real delivery.
Okay. And this is a one or two unique cases, or it's your average?
This is our average time.
Average time.
In fact, there was one of the largest retail chain in the country was using a PAM solution. Their auditor said this is not meeting the requirements. So they came to us. We said, okay. Within 3 days, we implemented the PAM solutions then. Within 3 days.
3 days.
3 days. Now that's the bet.
Okay, let's go in that, because I want to understand, because as per my experience, it requires a lot of time efforts. So now let's 3 days is quite aggressive, let's say, for 15 days.
Yes.
But when you are saying 15 days, what is the pre-readiness you expect from me?
Yes. See, first of all, you have to understand why somebody takes 6 months and why somebody takes 6 days.
Yeah.
The first challenge, as I told, is integration of devices. If you got one non-standard device, the implementation drags on. And you will need few months to build a connector adapter for that. We don't need any connectors. We integrate every device out of the box.
Okay, so like if there are non-standard devices as well, that also you are saying in 15 days those are covered.
I am saying I promise outcome based
You're saying this on camera.
Yeah, I'm saying it on camera, and I want the audience to know that we are taking bets. I tentatively tease my customers, prospects, by saying that I can do this implementation in 40 hours, which means 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. If you give me dedicated remote and support of giving me information about your infra and data, I'll be able to finish my configuration part, implementation part in 15 days, in 40 hours.
40 hours.
After that, it is obviously your 1 month period to test and get the system belief that yes, this works. So obviously you will take a month. So I don't expect this implementation to be signed off in one month, but I do believe that the implementation part will get over in 1 to 2 weeks.
Okay, and what has got that confidence in you? What you have built and how it come. Maybe I will like to talk to my audience directly here and tell them and give them the confidence about Iraje PAM and how they can sign it up and what they all need to do to get this journey started?
Right. And see, I'm saying this on camera. I'm saying this outcome based, and I've proven this. You can talk to my customers who have signed up with us and understand whether what I'm saying is right or wrong. Okay. That's one. And these are one of the largest enterprise in the country. I'm not talking a mom and shop, my father's company that I've implemented PAM in 15 days and all. But these are real large giants who have signed up with us, and we have proven this, and we take a bet as well, again and again.
Fair enough. And I will like you to take this confidence to the other solutions as well. But then why single solution? So, Iraje is specifically from last 15-20 years trying to solve this PAM as a problem which, everyone is facing. And why you think the same kind of confidence can we build in other products as well? And what's the strategy just going with one single solution?
See, so far, we had a belief system, so to say, where we thought if we do one thing, we have to do it the best in the world, right? We'll put all our effort, energies and innovation in creating the best of a solution. And we thought that we want to create a solution that people will come and buy us. We don't have to go and sell. But I forgot that I'm not Tesla and I'm not Elon Musk. Even if I build a Tesla, I'm not Elon Musk to go, that people will come and buy us. So the whole idea was that, to be serious, that we will focus one thing and do it best. That was the whole idea so far. I think that idea worked so far for us. And now we are taking it to the next level where we are coming up with new solutions as well. So the whole idea around single product company will become a multi-product company sooner or later.
Oh, okay. So any hints, anything you want to share here?
Yeah. So, I would like to tell you about this new solution that we are coming up with. This is one of the most interesting solutions that I think, will be from Iraje Stack. It is called EPM solution.
Okay.
We are going to focus on endpoints now. We focused on privileged users. Now we are focusing on endpoints, and sooner, somewhere down the line, we'll focus on end users as well. So we'll complete the triad of endpoints, end users, and privileged users, and focus on building a security specialist, identity specialist organization. So the next solution from our stack is going to be EPM.
Awesome. Sounds like amazing stuff, and I will be looking forward to that. Okay. But your entrepreneurship, if I talk about, you started your career as a corporate trainer, and then you took one solution, you build that up, and now you're looking forward to expand. So how that journey has been so far, and what is the transition took?
Correct. Yeah. So basically, I've spent around 30 years in the industry now. I started my career in 1995. It's been some years that I've been in the industry. First 15 years predominantly with TCS, IBM, and then the Gujju virus in me bit me, and I had to be the business focused guy that my family always has been in. So I ended up being an entrepreneur, working on this, being a part of Iraje, taking a piece of it and joining Iraje. And then since then, my journey in the security space began. It was just a very coincidence where I met a person, the founder of this organization, and we decided to do work together in this. Without knowing him, without having any acquaintance, no friend, no family, no relative, nothing, just coincidence, and we came together, and it's been a journey of 15 years together. It's been a fantastic journey. So, we focused on building this PAM solution from there. So my journey from an employee to an employer has been, a big transition for me. It's been 15 years without sniffing, the salary at the end of the month. So, it's a different experience. But that's what good Jews generally end up doing, want to do. Like Punjabis, like you as well. So that's been my journey so far. Yeah.
Amazing. I think very impressive. And how you see right now, like entrepreneurs like me. You are here from last 20 years, and for me, I started my entrepreneur journey 3 years back. About your the startups in India and the culture which is getting built, or anything your take on that, or maybe any message to the budding entrepreneurs or the new age entrepreneurs you like to give?
Correct. So I keep telling folks and students one important thing. we are a country of services, right? If you throw a stone around, you will see services company around. But there are hardly any product companies coming out of India. The future is into products. I am not, reducing the element of services. I'm not saying that service is not important. We have already built TCS, Wipro, Infosys, the world giants in services space, but it's time that we build our own Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Oracle of the world. I believe this is the time for entrepreneurs, for people who want to run their own organizations, to create products out of India. Okay. Because we have been so far selling, cotton and buying suits. We've been selling raw materials and buying suits. We've been selling all the, labor to the big giants and buying, products from them. Can we not create products out of India for the world? Okay. So that's my thought.
Amazingly, and we always say that, lead by example. So, any international stories for Iraj?
International stories, yes, we have sold. The PAM solution predominantly was focused on, this geography. So we've not ventured too much on our own outside, though we have sold it to different sold PAM in different geographies through references, through word of mouth. But consciously we have not stepped. The EPM solution that we are building it for the world. So that story will be international from day zero. So the moment we step out, it will be global, because it will be, world class. It is going to cater to every possible segment of the society. It's going to be multilingual. It is going to come up in 12 plus languages. So it is going to be global in nature.
Amazing, Kaushal. I think it was really nice talking to you and getting insights. I would like to wish you all the very best for the all upcoming products, and I must say thank you for being on the GB show. My audience must be loving it, the kind of information they have got for PAM, PIM, and what is the framework required around, and what are the misconfiguration they need to avoid, and also they can satisfy the compliance, most importantly, right? So thanks for being on the show, and as the last segment, I have a goodie bag for you.
Thank you so much
for here. So here I would like to thank you for being.
Thank you. And Starbucks is one of my customers as well. So thank you for giving something that relates to us. Thank you.
Okay. Nice talking to you. Thanks.
Thank you, Gaurav.
Yeah.